Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup, special World Series edition for the next couple months, huh? It is July 18th, 2024, and this is episode 43. I am here, as always, in LA, your host, Ty Dauberton, but my co host, Derek, this week, you may notice his background is a little bit different. Where you at, Derek?
I am still at the Paris, trying to grind out the World Series.
Nice, nice. Got to respect it. I'm taking a little break, coming home for a little bit here. This week, what do we got in store for you? Well, let's find out. As always, we are going to start with results from around LA.
And then we're also going to cover some of the results around the WSOP in Vegas.
And after that, we will talk about our weekends and Derek's continuing week. The Roundup boys did hit Vegas this weekend, hopefully in a somewhat, not big, but a little bit of a splash. See what we were able to accomplish out there.
And we got some cheaters at the World Series of Poker, which triggered a whole bunch of conversations about what we should be doing about cheaters.
Hey, alleged cheaters, probable cheat, likely cheat. Cheat. They're probably cheaters, but and then alleged cheaters, right? And that sparked a whole bunch of more conversation on, well, should online cheaters be banned from live poker and from everywhere in live poker?
And then turning the spotlight back to LA, we got our big Legends of Poker, which is the Bike's flagship series coming up right after the World Series, and their schedule's out, and it looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, so we will give you a bit of a preview of that. So I'm gonna quick try and fix our view so Derek's head's not cut off anymore. There we go. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. It's probably because of the new location. All right, so let's just jump right in, shall we? As always, we have our reliable tournament director, Kevin, giving us the results from around the gardens and the daily. So congratulations to Mr. Mike of Mike Lee Poker. He was the chip leader when the final 7 players decided to chop this daily back on June 12th. I believe this was a weekday one. No, this is the bounty one. I believe that's the Wednesday tournament, if I do recall. It was a 266 person tournament, and Mike took home, did he say? Nope, he just took the largest share. He was the top part of that chop. So congratulations, Mike Lee.
Congratulations, buddy.
After that, we have some very familiar faces who took down the, oh, look at that, 7 chopped again, who took down on June 14th, which I'm guessing is the Friday or Saturday tournament, probably the Friday one. We have here Saul Romero was the top chip stack when the final 7 players chopped. The other 6 players all got 3 to 5K. Saul just taking a little over 5K. And I forget his name, but he finished. He took one of the trophies for the last bounty event at the last series we just had there at the Garden. So the people's champ, as they say. So congratulations to these guys. Yeah, we see Saul
Nice
there
work.
all the time. Super mega reg. He's probably there as often as Jesse. I would say. All right.
Yeah, I do see him around a lot, and I have probably put in a lot of hours with him.
Yeah. So that's a little preview of where we're gonna jump onto next. But before we leave LA, just to kind of wrap things up around here, there was a series going on last week here in LA over at Lucky Lady. Now, Lucky Lady had their 100K guarantee, the 200 and I believe $35 entry or something like that. Oh, we got Jesse and Xander in the chat. What's up, guys? And I was not able to get any results from that summer series, which was extremely disappointing. I asked the tournament director a couple times, but apparently they are not allowed to give out any results to people until they get the okay from management. So I believe that process involves the person talking to management, asking if they can get the results. You can get your own results, but they will not give out the results like for everybody. So guys, if you want your results, if you want them to start publishing them, if you want to get put up in the Hemden mob, you need to, every time you go to Lucky Lady, you need to kind of complain, or at least like, not complain like a lot, but just every time say, hey, I'm reminding you again, would really love it, right? And if you can, maybe get the contact info for someone like the next level up, complain to them, because the only 2 ways we can do this, right, is if the regulars are really noisy about it, or if we made a stink about it and somehow people stop going. But I don't think that's going to happen. So if that's what you want, man, you guys gotta let your voices be heard. But I was able to confirm that the prize pool was over 133,000. They handedly beat the guarantee.
I
I
mean,
know.
it's such a basic thing to post results. I don't. It feels like maybe you guys are living in some sort of decades past. It's also not helping the fact that I don't see Lucky Lady as a real casino still. I still feel like it's a figment of my imagination.
Oh,
So if you
geez.
guys aren't gonna post results, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I
I
don't know
mean,
if
if
you
you
guys
don't
are
post
real.
results, how are you even real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, you just have to grow. I mean, to grow bigger, I guess. I mean, Xander though, our man Xander was over there and he did cash, right? Xander, what place did you finish again? So congratulations to Xander in there. He's also commenting that he thought that compared to some of the other tournaments he's played around, that the dealers, the actions were a little bit slow compared to others, which kind of stinks because they do, they are the lower buying tournaments in the area, and they do, which means they do have kind of the faster structures. So that stinks that they're playing a little slow there. Xander got 25th of the day 2 entries, which was 88 there. So that was great job, Xander. Good run, 25th out of that kind of a tournament. I think they had like 6 starting days. It's really good, man. Way to go.
Yeah. Nice work, man. Always getting into the final, 3 tables is a big deal in tournaments. I would say that that's officially usually, what we might describe as running deep officially once you get there.
Yeah, definitely,
Good luck.
especially in a multi-day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and it's odd when you see casinos doing things not, I don't know, almost like up to snuff in terms of like operations and how things are being run. Because I mean, tournaments, it's not like a new thing, right? It's just feel like it's been being run the same anywhere. And you can almost look at like WSOP and WPT as kind of like your model. Like just if you just copy what they do, like you're fine. So yeah, just weird when we see stuff like this happening.
yeah, I mean WSOP, they have your results submitted and posted to Hendon before the tournament's even over. I mean,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, I cashed and busted out of the monster, but I'm home now. But my monster stack results are on Hendon already before I even got home, and that thing isn't done yet. It's still
Yeah.
playing. So I mean, come on, guys. It's not
And
like Hendon's holding you up.
I was actually just really commenting on Xander saying, they're kind of unorganized over there.
Mm.
When I hear unorganized, just, like, yeah, posting results is one thing, but disorganization and just even operations and ways of kind of working and running tournaments, just, it's just out there. Just
Yeah,
follow what other
but
people do.
good on them for stretching out and trying to run a bigger tournament because they typically run a very small tournament,
Yeah.
just their dailies. So hopefully they've learned from this and they'll get better. But yeah, you have to improve those things if you want to keep doing bigger ones, right?
Yep.
All right, so that was all I was able to find from around here in LA because just like Lucky Lady, the other venue that was having an out of the ordinary tournament was the Father's Day bounty over at the Hollywood Park. And as we know, they have the same policy that you need to go through some hoops and get extra permissions to release any results from there. So we don't have any results from there, but whoever won that, good job. So let's bounce on over back to Vegas. Going back to Vegas, we have local Michael or Jonathan Bowers. They put his middle name in there. Okay, Johnny Bowers got first place in a 3-way chop at the BetMGM 1K PLO mystery bounty. So way to go, Mr. Bowers. He's having one heck of a year, man. We've
Nice
been
work.
saying his name all year and just playing
Yeah.
great, running great.
Yeah, definitely a good player. Put in a lot of hours with him as well, and I would definitely describe him as a very strong player. I didn't know they had TLO mystery bounties. Like, I mean, I guess mystery bounty is mystery bounty, but that's interesting.
I think the World Series actually has one on the schedule this year.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm
That's kind of fun.
almost positive. I think they have one on the schedule. And yep, Bowers took home over 48K for that. So way to go. Us LA guys,
Nice.
we haven't won a ton of bracelets, but that's 2 trophies over at the Aria now between Mr. Ubadov and Johnny Bowers. So maybe LA guys, we should just all go to the Aria. Appears to be the place we run good.
Definitely a nice card room and nice casino.
Yeah, for sure. I did not go to the Aria because they were running PLO the weekend I was this last weekend. I actually went over to the Win, but we'll get back to that later. So in addition to Johnny taking home the trophy there, let's head back to the World Series. We had some other, I didn't have time to scour every single result between the last week, but I found a couple notable ones. We had Mr. James Pilpa got 37th in the 1500 freeze out. You'll remember him from the final table of our World Series Circuit Main. He got 4th there. So he's having a really great run last few months here.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah. And then we had Sammy, our favorite dealer, Sammy Beshahad. He got eighth place. Let me bring that picture up. He got eighth place in the 3K six-handed. So close, so close. Not technically a final table because it was a six-handed, but man, that's twice now Sammy's been knocking on the door to getting a bracelet this summer.
Yeah, I mean, such an unbelievable player. We've obviously talked a lot about him before I had him on a show, but huge respect for him as a poker player because he really is an incredible like no limit hold'em tournament
Yeah.
player.
Yep. Love Sammy, and we love that he's going to be competing in Europe instead of here as often now because he's going to be moving on.
Yeah.
So sucks to lose him, but good that we won't have to compete with him. And I played cash with this French player right before I left, and he and his buddy, I joked with him like, hey, hey, you guys are French, right? You know who Sammy is, right? Oh yeah, we know Sammy, we know Sammy. So that was kind of fun. And then in another case of close calls for getting bracelets here, friend of the pod, our buddy Rob Gill. Everyone knows Rob. He's a real true LA blaster. Second place in the 600 PLO. Heartbreaking. Absolutely
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was there on the rail along with Jeremy. So yeah, it was yeah, he did really well to get all the way to the end. It was actually his first PLO tournament, he said. I think he's played PLO cash before. And it was pretty funny. Like kind of took a picture and then somehow Poker News like found my tweet and put it up. Oh yeah, there it is right
Yep,
there.
there it is.
And put it up on the site. But yeah, it was really fun rallying him. Had a pretty big chip lead going into heads up, and he had the other player all in twice, so he was just like just a couple of cards away from winning his first bracelet. So I'm sure it was very frustrating for him.
Yeah, it's got to be so painful. I think he had probably three chances where if he just wins the hand, he wins the bracelet, but he doesn't. And in
Yep.
PLO, it's just so close. All the hands
Yeah.
are just so close. So
Yeah.
great score for Rob. New high score. He set his high score twice this year. So way to go. He's having one heck of a year as well. But just so close to the bracelet. It's got to be painful. All right. So those were all of the big local finishes I was able to find. So let's move on to some more just big news in the poker world as far as the World Series goes.
Yeah. So World Series
Oh wait,
in
sorry, Derek.
Vegas.
Sorry, Derek. I didn't write this on the schedule. This one, I have one more local news to cover. So I forgot Maria Ho counts as a local LA. So
It
let
does.
me just quick run down her last summary. She has cashed 8 of 14 events. Holy cow!
That's unbelievable.
It's over half. She's well
Yeah.
over half, and currently she is, I believe, has a stack of chips in the 10,000 horse. So when this was posted about an hour and a half ago, there were 32 left. 28 get paid, and she was among the chip leaders. So way to go! It looks like she's gonna go. Um, it looks like she's gonna be going 9 for 15. So, whew, all right.
Yeah, she's a heck of a poker player too.
Yep. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Just remembered. Had one more local. Go for it.
Yeah, so then going back to the World Series now, one of the big news that happened this week was Mr. Phil Ivey, one of our goats, potentially still probably maybe the best poker player of all time, when we look at the entire landscape of poker players. But he finally got his 11th World Series of Poker bracelet in a deuce to seven triple draw event. And it has been a long, long time since he last won a bracelet. I think it was something like 10, 12 years or something like that, Ty. Do you know what that number was?
It's been over 10 years. It's been 10 years at least. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
article here says decade-long drought.
Yeah,
So,
but it was pretty fun final table. He had Benny Glazer on it, who's one of the best mixed game players in the world. Had actually a local player, Danny Wong, who actually got that down there into the final four, and also Jason Mercier. Unbelievable final table. Pretty fun to watch actually. I watched a little bit of it, even though I don't like play Deuce to Seven that much. But yeah, unbelievable to see Phil Ivey ship that.
oh come on, we had a great time that one deuce to seven tournament we played. I I loved it. I got a big discount on that tournament from some sucker I got to last longer bet me.
I didn't know that you actually had played a little bit of triple draw before
Oh
because I
come on.
hadn't never played it before.
I'd played 3 hours with my buddies so we could practice dealing like the week before. That's it. It's literally it.
It was 3 hours more than me. Um,
You just didn't have
but then
Alan sitting at your table coaching.
yeah. But then there was another Phil who's got a nice run going. So Mr. Phil Hellmuth is currently playing for bracelet number 18 potentially in a mixed Omaha 8 event. I think he's pretty deep. I believe he was chip leader at some point yesterday. I don't know where he's at today. But another big news, obviously Phil Hellmuth is a bit of a polarizing figure because of his poker brat persona, but I think we're all continuing to root for his greatness and love to see him just keep shipping more and more bracelets.
Yeah, I mean it's great for poker to have somebody who has gaudy numbers and records, and it's great for to have someone point to like that. And he was really here pushing commerce, doing a lot of promo, trying to build the LA scene here this last month. So a lot of a lot of thanks for Phil for doing all of that and growing the game for sure.
And it's really impressive actually because he was like a no limit hold'em specialist, I suppose, for many, many years. And then I think it's only maybe over the last recent 4 or 5 years where he seems to be playing a lot more mixed games. And now actually he's doing pretty well in a lot of these mixed game events, right? So, I think even with all his bravado and kind of all the talk about him maybe just not being very like technically sound, I think that you just have to admit, right, that he's a very, very good poker player and a very well-rounded poker player.
Yeah, I feel like it's more than 4 years, but no, definitely made that transition and made it successfully. And it's just definitely the smart thing to do if you're trying to get bracelets, right?
Right. And then we have another absolute crusher, Scott Seaver. Won his second bracelet of the series in the 1500 RAS. So congrats to Scott. Obviously, a fantastic tournament player, fantastic cash game player. Has been around forever. Playing a lot of high stakes. Big personality in the poker community. About being able to ship another bracelet. I think one of his tweets he said, there's levels to this, and there absolutely is.
Yeah. Scott Sieber, I think he's just decided this year he's focusing on tournaments, and holy cow, I kind of hope he goes back to cash soon. I mean, he's destroying things. Like if he wins another bracelet, like this could be a run of the ages. Like when's the last time we saw someone win 3 bracelets? I feel like it probably has been a while. I mean, all live, right? So
Yeah, a lot of times these cash game players who play a lot of high stakes cash, you just kind of don't see what they're doing if they're not on one of these like streams or something like that. But you hear so much about certain people, and Scott's like one of those people where he seems so well regarded, from all the top pros, and I think he's showing like why because of his absolute skill set.
hmm yeah, no, it's gonna be really fun to keep watching him, and I wish I had known that and taken his fantasy team. I don't think he's on my team.
Yeah. Um, then in other big news, there was a 50K high roller tournament, which Sergio Ido shipped, and it was an unbelievable final table. Super fun to watch. Definitely watch it. I really wish they had actually started streaming it from the final 18 because the entire final 18 was stacked. But man, like what a final table it was. Unbelievably high level of play with poker between like Sergio and Chance Vernuth. Victor Blom, if you don't know who he was Isildur
Yeah,
one
he's
back
still
in the
there.
day. Um, and if you don't know the legend of Isildur, so this is back when like Patrick Antonius and Tom Dwan and all these guys were playing all the high stakes like games and heads up. And this guy just came out of nowhere. This mystery man, Isildur, came in and just started playing at the extreme highest levels, like millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like Brian Hastings had gotten in there too. A little bit of a controversy there with Brian. And Isildur, but basically Isildur just took the entire high stakes like cash game world by storm. So it was really cool just to see him kind of make a final table here.
Yeah,
You could
and no
see
one knew who he
how,
was for a while, right?
yeah,
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 that
he
was
was
even
actually a
more fun
mystery
because
man
no
for a
one
very
knew
long
who he
time.
was for quite a while.
Right, and then finally, came out that he was like this, like Scandinavian kid or something. But yeah, he really still showed his high level of skill, and just that he's just so creative. Like the things he does is so creative. So definitely watch that final table where you have like absolute like GTO masters, right? In like the Sergios, and then you had Chance Cornuth, right? And just some of these guys that were playing, and then just having a Victor in there. It was really really fun to watch.
And I did not see this, but somebody through the grapevine was there when Sergio cashed out and managed to get a very fun little picture here. I mean, this is what it looks like to win a high roller, guys. Another day at the office. That's all.
Oh my God, that's what $2 million looks like.
Yeah, they'll that and what's up in front of them. So I guys, if you want to start dreaming, if you have like a what do you call those a vision board or something, I think that we all need to buy a suitcase, a $2 million suitcase, because that looks really specific. That's like perfectly sized or something. I think we need to find
Right.
out and make sure that when we go to the World Series, make sure you bring the suitcase that can fit your prize money in it. Because look, this is insane. Can you imagine having this? Like this, wouldn't that just raise your blood pressure just knowing this exists?
Yeah. I'm surprised these guys don't take the payment in cash in a check or something, but interesting.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
mean, would not recommend this for any of you actually. Yeah, make sure you get the wire,
Right.
get the check, do something else. But
Yeah.
I have to think that this is like, I mean, if you're getting all this money, you're clearly going to go back in your room and roll around in it, right? I mean, there's really
Yeah,
no
for
other
sure.
practical reason for this much money.
I'm guessing, probably had to pay off his backers. I don't know how much he was actually back, so that's
Yeah.
probably why a lot of these high stakes guys take what they have in cash. But yeah, for everyone else, you really should just be
Yep.
getting a check or a wire or something.
Yep. 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 I definitely I'm probably just gonna walk over to like the Bellagio and turn them into chips, anyways. Um,
What an unbelievable picture though to see somebody cashing out $2 million at the
I know,
cage.
right? Can you imagine
Just
just
a
standing there,
dream.
be like, what if you didn't know who he was? Like, who's that guy? I don't know. Why has he got a suitcase? Uh-oh, that's why he's got a suitcase.
Yeah, yeah, it's super
Oh,
funny.
wild things you can see at the World Series. Things you can see at the World Series. Speaking of the World Series, I saw some things there this weekend. You're still there, buddy. I think you
I am.
actually got there. No, we got there about the same time. You got there a little before me because
Yep.
unfortunately, I remember you were able to rail. You were able to rail Rob's final table
Yep.
with
Yep.
Jeremy. I think a lot of our viewers are actually in the seniors event right now or something with Frank and all them. I was driving, getting the updates from you guys, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get there in time to rail. So you got there first. Um, we both got there on Thursday night. Settled in, hopped into, got the hotel, our hotel rooms. I went down and regged for the Monster Stack the night before. Totally unnecessary. I haven't seen any lines anywhere. This
Yeah,
last
the lines
weekend, I
have
haven't
been
seen lines anywhere.
are really good. Yeah.
Yeah, not really for anything. Like not haven't had to wait very long for to put money onto something to reg to cash out to do anything. So I'm well tournament related. As you see lines obviously for food and lines for bathrooms, but
Yeah,
honestly,
the World Series has always been so good with operations and getting people into tournaments faster, but this year has just been unbelievable. And this is even still with that crazy hiccup that happened on day two, where like I think all their like systems went down, they couldn't like register people, but mostly they've just been getting people in. Even like that massive, what was that huge event that
the
happened,
Gladiator
the
pluses.
Gladiator, right? Yeah, that was. I went down there expecting like everything to become like filled wall to wall, and it wasn't. So yeah, they've been doing a great job this year.
Yep. Oh, and I have one more go back. I believe I forgot to mention when we were going over local results. Andrew Ostapchenko, another name we say all the time, finished
Oh
12th
yeah,
in the 25K high roller. So almost
wow,
final tabled
nice,
that thing. So guys on a roll. Guys on
nice,
a
nice.
roll. All right.
What's up to Spencer in the chat?
Hey, how's it going? Spencer, Larry, whoever is on the account. um, so so register early, got some sleep, get ready, come in and battle on my day one on Friday. Um, I had a fantastic table. I thought pretty fantastic table. It was eight. No, there's nine to table. Seven of us. Kind of probably five of the other guys were kind of older gentlemen, relaxed, just hanging out. And then the last two seats on the other side of the table, those were guys, younger guys who showed their passports. I won't call them Euros because the one guy was Chinese, probably. Definitely wasn't European. But those two played as you'd expect. But for the most part, it was a very good table that I almost wasted immediately by bluffing off half my stack in level two. From there, it was a long freaking grind throughout the day, and I was able to just chip up and grind my way through. And I actually bagged on that first Friday. It turns out I came up and wasted a lot of hotel money coming up way too early because I bagged on the first 1A. So that was that. I had nothing else to do. I bagged 220K. So there really wasn't much to talk about, honestly, on that day, except for at the very end of the day. I got really tilted from we're 2.5 levels away from bagging up for the night, and it was time to break tables. They broke my table. I was on the button. I'm in a good side seat. I go to the new table. I get the dead five seat. Everyone knows that's like probably one of the worst seats at the table. Dead in the middle, five.
Yeah,
I
it's the worst.
come in. I'm +1, basically under the gun from the button. Lose a hand. One orbit later, I'm on the button again. We break again. I got to go to a new table. Still dead in the middle, five. Getting super tilted. Lost another button. Get a drink. Spill it immediately. All around. I'm just like, there's an hour left.
Oh,
I'm just dying. I'm like, let me get out of here. Oh my goodness. I don't want to play anymore. I'm so upset. So that was really, honestly, that was more interesting than the poker. The poker was just kind of standard after I don't know. I just decided to spot the table half a stack. I don't know. It was more fun that way. Um, So we got through, pretty, mission accomplished. How did it go for you, Derek?
Definitely a pretty rough series so far. Yeah, so for the first flight, had a pretty good table, and then had chipped up pretty well, and then basically just ran ace king into aces, and this has been a bit of a recurring theme with me over the last week, and actually probably this whole year. But yeah, ran ace king into aces, busted from day 1A, registered for day 1B, had a fantastic table to start with again, had chipped up, and then I ran kings into aces.
Ugh.
But I had actually gotten my stack up to like 65,
Oh
70K, and
yeah,
then I
yeah.
only had like 38. Yeah, so then I ended up like, getting cut down to 38K. They broke my really good table, so I was super annoyed. Moved us to horseshoe. That table, it wasn't like tough. It was just that there were like three people to my left that were just a little bit three bet heavy, so it was kind of making me play a little bit in the vice, and a huge stack to my right that was just like very sticky. So it was like a tough spot where I shouldn't be three betting that often because he's going to call me no matter what. But then if I three bet or if I, just flat his raises, that could have people kind of squeezing behind. So it was just like it was like a vice on me the entire day.
That
But
sucks.
mostly yeah, I was still able to get through it. I got up to like, still up to like 120, 130K, and I floated around there, until, day two came around, and then actually just everything just on day two went pretty badly.
Ugh.
If I'm telling the truth. Yeah.
That sucks, man. And it sounds like Jesse and Larry are having rough series as well. Sorry to hear that, guys, but there's a lot of time left. Keep your head up. You'll get there. Jesse says he's 0 for 11. I don't know if that's all World Series or if that's mixed around the town. And Larry says he's 0 for 7. So, man, it'll end, guys. You guys will turn it around. You guys will turn it around.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I did not have to play on 1B. That's the day you ultimately no, you bagged on C or B? B, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you ultimately bagged on B. So on B, I actually went over to the Win to play their 1K one day tournament. So hopped on over there, decided to play in a friendly little one day, and it was kind of funny at my table. We had like one revolving seat at my table, and people are coming in, and I see the text from Frank. He's like, "Oh yeah, Hal just busted." He's like, said I got super unlucky. I'm running over to Max late or to late reg the win. I'm like, "Oh yeah. He just sat down at my table." And then his day, it was a bad day for Saul, and I can say that because when we get to a little later, he's having a good day now, I believe. But yeah, he came over. He ran awful. He literally busted ace 6 versus ace 6. It's just like it's just awful. But I actually had a really good day for um I had some incredible luck that day. I kind of wish I could have put that in a bottle and just saved it. But I ended up in 29th. But the first hand that propelled me to my first real double up and really got me going on that day, it's one for the ages, man. I just got to show you that. Look, guys, this is really, we don't talk strategy on this pod very often, but this is the one piece of advice I'll give you. If you want to win at poker, just do this. Have King Jack in the blinds, flop a royal flush.
And then get paid.
Let your opponent make a full house. I mean, poker's just that easy. I don't know what else to tell you.
I think I made one or two royal flushes in my entire life, possibly, and I don't think either of them I got paid. It's really hard to get paid with the royal flush because of how sloppy those boards are. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, this was good. I didn't have to bet a single time. I just called and we got the double. But guys, look, that's gonna be the most concrete advice I ever give, strategy wise. So yeah, no, I've had a number of royal flushes. I want to say I've had at least four, but this is the first one I've ever flopped. And I tell you what, I've gotten paid. I got paid. The other one that I really distinctly remember, I got paid, and I felt really bad because this poor guy was buried, and he was just about to get. It was one of those kind of home games. It was honestly, it was. I used to do field engineering, field support work for my defense contractor I used to work for, and I was out on a military base doing that. So I was supporting a system out there, and the Marines out there had a poker game once a month, sometimes twice a month. Basically after payday. So I was out there in Iraq on a military base in a tent where they'd host a poker game, and people would just come in. Throughout the night, maybe like 30 to 40 people would come in and out. They'd just play leave, just a big cash game. And the guy who ran it and like two other guys there were kind of relatively competent. And I would go and once I found out about it, I'd play with them. And usually like the four of us were still there. You know, some people would win and leave, but mostly people would just come and they'd lose and the money would still be there. And the four of us would still be playing at the end of the night. So this one guy was buried. He was in for like 4 or 5 buy-ins at the time. It was only like, you know, that wasn't like as much as it wasn't like a 2-5 game or anything. It was like a 50-cent dollar game. But, you know, you don't really have access to a lot. But anyways, he's buried, and it's the end of the night, and he's about even. He's almost even, and the board comes out. I made a royal flush on the turn, and the board was something along the lines of Jack, Jack, 10, Queen, Queen. I have Ace King suited, made the royal flush, and I just know 100% he has the queen, and I got paid because, yeah, it's just like, I just felt bad because it's like the way the hand played, I'm like, I know you have the queen, and this pot's gotten big, and I know you can't fold, and I feel bad taking your money, man, but like, I've got a royal flush, so, yep, so I made, that's the other one I really remember.
There's no friends of the, I mean, there's, you know, friends of the poker table, but no friends when you're in hands, and you know, you guys can.
I can feel bad. I'm going to take your money. I'll feel bad about it, but, you know. So there's that.
And then, on the day off that I had, which was then Sunday, I ended up just playing online. So just to answer Xander, basically the WSOP app is pretty good. I mean, so number one, it's like a 10-year advancement in the previous and that's not a joke on their previous software. Like their previous software was so bad, and now this actually just feels like a modern poker client. Works pretty well. I think there were some bugs if you have like too many tables open, like on a mobile app or something like that. But mostly it's been fine for me. I think there's some like quirks about the mobile one, but on desktop it's been really good. Has some really nice features, kind of like rabbit hunting, and you can actually set like different kind of blind raise sizes, which is nice as well. So on that Sunday I played the 1K 6 max, which is a pretty tough tournament. And I ran pretty well for the first couple of levels, and I basically got a top 10 chip stack, and I stayed there almost the entire way. I was basically somewhere between like 3rd and 4th and like 8th or 9th, right? I think it maybe dropped to like 12th for a little bit, then back up into the top 10. And then when we got past the money, I basically lost a pretty big all-in with when somebody jammed deuces on the button, and I called with sixes. And he ended up rivering a deuce, which like basically crippled me. And after that, I think I busted around like 50th. So I mean, at least it was a nice cash. But I think online, it's been pretty rough. Like I ran like ace king into aces or kings. Like even today, I ran it. I was like showing tie and like Frank and a couple of people in chat, like how many of like aces and kings I keep running into. But it's been a pretty rough series overall where I feel like I just keep running into the top of people's ranges.
It'll turn around, man. They'll start running into the top of your range. They gotta. It has to, right? I mean, it might be in 10 years, but it has to turn around.
You know, to be fair, I think the early part of the 1K6 max, people were running into the top of my range, which is how I got a top 10 chip stack. But then, after that, you know, it's kind of tough to hang all the way through a very, very long tournament.
Yeah, I feel it, man. So, yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good start to the weekend, pretty good weekend overall on Monday here. I was in there also for day 2 of the Monster. I didn't really get a lot going for quite a while. I had 200K really going in. I got up to around 300, and then I got back to 200, and then I'd get up to like 250 and go down to like 150. And, you know, as we were approaching the bubble, I was stuck around 150, which was pretty awkward. I was hoping to have more chips by then. I had another awesome table draw to start the day, but we broke the table after probably 2 levels. It was really unfortunate because it was a fantastic table. Literally one of the fellas at the table, it was like, he said he's never played a tournament before. This was his bucket list item. Like, you know, he busted kind of early, but, you know, they're really, that was the kind of table it was. It was great. And it was funny. I was at the very, very far row in the orange section of Horseshoe, and they broke us, and I got moved to the very, very opposite wall. So I'm sitting against the other wall completely in the blue section, and they broke us again before we hit the money. So before we hit the money that day, before we got to the dinner break, I broke twice. So that was hilarious. So got to my third table of the day, and yeah, when we got near the money, I was kind of at like 150-ish, and we made the money at 10K blinds. So, you know, I was hanging out around 10, 15-ish blinds for a while. I got a lucky hand, lucky question mark, when we were maybe, I don't know, 20 people or no, there's a lot, like 100 people away because that went fast. Comes around, cutoff raises, I jam ace king with my 14, 15 bigs. Everyone folds. Cool. Next orbit, exact same spot. I'm button. Cutoff opens. I got ace king again. I jam my 16, 14, 15, whatever bigs. This time, tanks, he calls. Ace queen. I hold. I get the double. We're safe. So I made the money. A little after that, I butchered a river badly and lost most of that stack, unfortunately. And then I just kind of hung on for dear life with my 4 or 5 big blinds and somehow made a ladder, which, that's the first ladder. We cashed it 1301 players. The first ladder was at 870 something, I think. So, I survived another 500 players. It's not bad considering I pretty much, as soon as we hit the money, punted from a stack of 350 to 60, So,
Right.
yeah, I definitely could have still had over 200 chips in that hand. I just did not. Yeah, it was not a good river. So, yeah, that was good, but still. This weekend, I am 1 for 1 in World Series cashes. So, hey, 100% cash rate this year, guys. I think I'll just hang it up now. Just, perfect record.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Perfect record.
Yeah,
And
my day two,
awesome.
my day two was definitely yeah, I don't even remember. Like it was like nothing really terrible happened. I think went into day two with about 30-ish bigs, and then just lost a couple of pots, got down to like 20, and then just really couldn't get anything going. Got down to 10 from just the blinds going up. Got it in with ace nine against king jack, and he river to jack and bust me out of the tournament. But that was only 10 bigs, not a huge deal,
Yeah.
like basically a flip, right? So yeah, that was it for day two. I went and registered the 2K, which is probably a mistake. I ended up like calling his net had raised under the gun, and not only was he playing like a nit, he looked like a nit.
Oh, no.
So I don't even know what I was thinking in this hand. Like to my credit, I didn't 3-bet jacks out of the big line like pre. I just called. The flop came up like king 7-5 or something, and then he basically fired like 3 streets, and it ran all lower cards, and I
Yeah.
ended up calling all of the streets, and he had a set of kings. Right,
Yeah.
actually he turned the boat.
Jeez.
Silly, it's just
Yep.
silly. I don't
Jeez.
even
Hey,
so
Frank and Jesse. Yes, it is nice. It is nice. No, and Xander, that was my training right there. That advice, that was my whole training. Just flop row flushes. Oh, okay. I have a second lesson. That's lesson 1. Lesson 2 also happened during that one day. Get aces in the big blind when everyone folds to the small blind who has queens, and that'll get you to 29th. I finished 29th in that, and unfortunately my third lesson did not come true, which is have a combo draw on a three-way all in and hit. If you hit, you'll probably make the final table, but I didn't hit, so I got 29th. All right. Sorry there. So that is that was our monster stacks. Let's take a quick check-in on the World Series site here and see who is still kicking it for LA and representing in the monster stack. Now, when I checked before the show started, there were more of us alive, unfortunately. So since the show has begun, unfortunately, Sohal has busted here in 88th. So
no.
GG there. He had a decent stack too. Some nasty hands must have happened. And also Michael Wasserman busted in 85th. So these guys, good job. 88th and 85th. Well done. Well done. We do have
really
a couple
good.
guys still alive. Here we have Thus in 66 here. He's hanging on for life at 1.6 million. But I tell you what a come up here. Our man and friend of the pod here, Fausto, up here at 26. Now, when I checked in on him before the show started, he had less than 1 million. So this man, right here, 6.1 plus, that he's had less than 1 million when I checked on him before. What a come up. That must be some big hand histories. I bet if we checked his Instagram stories, we'd see something.
Yeah.
He's in 26 currently, though, according to these standings. So way to go. Let's go, Fausto.
Yeah, let's go, buddy.
All right. So, yeah, they're representing still. Did we sell him a sweater or anything? I don't think we did.
Yeah, I can go find them. Well, I'm actually leaving tomorrow, but yeah, it's fantastic to see these guys deep in that monster stack. I think there's some very, very good players left in that too, by the way. I think I saw one in the updates, so
oh yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yep, absolutely. When I was checking before, let me see if they're still at the top of the list here. I've got Oh shoot, am I in the wrong? Hold on. Uh, we had Martin Cabral second in chips.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
We've got. Here, let me bring it back up so you can see too. I saw it was. I think Kristen Foxen was up near the top when I last looked, but I don't see her
Yep.
now. Yep, there she's 21. Um, there were definitely some really big names. They've kind of. I think they've filtered their way down since I last checked. There were some. They were all kind of concentrated near the top, but it looks like some of them took some hits. Maybe Fausto knocked a few of them down. But yeah, Steven Song. Yeah, Steven Song was like number 2 in chips last time I looked.
Right.
So yep,
Yeah.
Steven
I mean,
Song's still
just
in there.
unbelievable field still left in that monster
Yep.
stack. Usually you don't get these big pros
Nadia
making it
Magnus
this deep
still
on
in. Um,
yeah. Like these huge events, it's kind of hard for these like
mhm.
very top pros to get there. So
Yeah.
definitely amazing that so many of them have gotten this far.
Yep. So and Ryan Lang was in there at 95th, so he was still in before I checked. So yep, big names were going really deep in this thing. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. So I wanted to talk about one other thing with the monster stack, though. So this is a thing that's been bugging me, and I've complained about it a couple times, but I just want to throw this out here one more time. And we have some numbers that kind of make me really upset about. Well, really upset about it in that, like, man, this was really dumb, guys. I think this was a misstep. We mentioned when we went over the schedule originally that the monster stack, the Millionaire Maker, and the Colossus all have more day ones than they did in prior years, and that those day ones are all on Sunday. That sucks. I mean, that really sucks because we didn't make the money until the dinner break on day 2. Day 2 was Monday. That was the day I had to take off of work. And, when we talked with Jack and Ty at the Commerce, they said SoCal is really, I forget the percentage they said, but it was upwards of like 15%, I think, of kind of attendance, right? And, a lot of us, we go up there. A lot of people just go up there for weeks. They take a week trip. They come back. They go back, take a week trip. But you know what? I can't be alone. And even in Vegas, there got to be people who work. I wanted to come up for all of these events. I was going to drive up right after work, stay for Saturday, Sunday, and if I happen to make a day 3, take extra time. And I was going to come up for every single one of these events, the Monster Stack, the Millionaire Maker, the Colossus.
Yep.
I'm not coming up this week. I'm not coming up next week because if I come up and I take day 2 off, I'm not in the money. It's Monday. I've ruined my whole week. I've used vacation. Like, this is why. And the argument, World Series of Poker, it's an event. You come, you stay a week, you plan the whole thing. Work weeks don't matter as much, right? Okay, that's cool. If that's the case, why did you put it on a Sunday, that day 1, instead of Thursday? Why not make that extra day 1 Thursday? So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, day 1s. Let day 2 still be on Sunday because, hey, you just said it doesn't matter. You say the normal rules don't apply because that's why we can just do this and people don't mind because it's Monday, Like, I don't mind coming back if I'm making money. I mind paying, that $50 resort fee and $20 parking fee and my hotel fee for coming back and then busting right away, right? And look at these numbers. Last year's Monster Stack, 8,317 entries. This year's Monster Stack, 8,704 entries. Less than 400 additional entries with an entire extra day, right?
Yeah, with one extra day, that doesn't seem right. So, I mean, maybe to your point, it is that some people just decided not to come out, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. And then you know what else? I think the Monster Stack especially is not going to benefit from having extra days. And I think that we might see this kind of thing with the bike. Spoiler alert, they're going to have their Park West Classic, right? But we kind of mentioned this to them when they were discussing the schedule with us a little bit. Like 5 or 6, I think 6 day 1 flights for a tournament. That's like, people get fatigued, man. People get tired. Most people have a limit of how many they were going to fire anyways, or they can only fire the weekends. So, like, what's the point of all those extra flights, right? And for the Monster Stack in particular, I played with a number of people. I kind of did an informal poll at my table, and at least a third of the people at my day 2 table, they said they only had planned on firing 1 bullet. Talked to one guy, and I made that point to him, and he kind of nodded. He's like, "Yeah, he played on Friday, but I'm like, so, but if you only had 2 days to choose from, you would have just picked one of the other days, right? Because you're only firing 1 bullet." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here this weekend. Yeah, that's right." And then that other gentleman I was telling you about, this literally was his bucket list item, and everyone had always told me before, the Monster Stack, people love it because it's like a lot of people's main event, right? So if it's their main event, they can barely afford to play this thing. they're not firing multiple bullets, right? So you have a
Right.
large segment of your audience here that's only going to fire one bullet. So it doesn't matter if you have 50 day ones, they're going to fire one bullet. And then the other thing is it's such a slow structure. It's such a slow structure. It's like the second slowest structure with the second biggest stack there is. Pros should be able to bag this pretty easy. So many pros last like super late regged and you bag, right? Like you can bag a starting stack if you just super late reg, win two hands and then just fold. Like you'll bag like 45K, right? Like getting through the day one. Like if you want people to buy in more, and this is the other thing I kind of told people, like, look, if you're gonna do this to us, LA, we hate dinner breaks. Like, if you're gonna start at 11, why not start at 10? Or it did start at 10. I don't know. Like, just do things to play more levels. Do things so that fewer of us make it to day two. Because if we all bag, it doesn't. Once again, if we all bag, I would have fired 3 bullets in this thing if I had to, but I didn't have to. So if I bag, it doesn't matter if you have 10 more flights. You're not getting any more money out of me, right? And if this tournament
Right.
is so easy to bag, all of us and all of the better players who are good at bagging, like you're not gonna get extra bullets out of them, guys. Especially with all these chips and
Right.
all this time. So
Right.
I think, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That the monster stack really hurt. I think when we see the Millionaire Makers numbers next week, that'll tell us a little more. So last year, the Millionaire Maker had over 10,000 entries. So if that number is significantly higher, maybe this is a better idea for them. But if that number doesn't go up either, I mean, either there's an attendance thing, like just there just wasn't much growth this year at all overall, or
Right.
because that's the thing. You budget, right? Like Millionaire Maker, you could buy in 4 times last year max, right? People will budget 4 times. This year, everyone that could budget 4 can't budget for 6. So,
Right.
and to the same point of those guys, people travel in to play. It's not like they're going to travel in. More people are going to travel in because you have an extra day, right? To start,
Right.
it's like the same people traveled in. So, what are you doing?
Right.
Yep. So, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting point to look at data that way because, adding an extra day to the tournament, I mean, it's not going to grow it by 30% or something like that, but it should have been definitely more than 400 people.
Right. And given that it only grew by 400 people, I mean, that's a loss. That definitely costs way more to put on
Yeah.
an entire
I mean, it's,
day.
it's interesting. It's interesting to think that they had just kept the schedule the same, right? And with the natural growth of what's been happening year over year, you would expect a little bit more than 400. So it does feel like it was down in some weird way.
Yeah, and there is a possibility that I am not alone, right? Because I when I mentioned this to other people, they were annoyed as well. I didn't get their plans and if they changed, but they were not like, yeah, this is worse. Um,
Yeah.
if there are people like me, even if there's 300 people like me, I picked
Yeah.
one instead of going to all three. That could represent, so now only 100 people per each tournament instead of the 300 at each single one, right? That's like 200
Right.
less people at each event. That could be up to 450 fewer entries at each one, and that's just like from LA. Like now, the people that live in Vegas, the guy who I played with, he drove in from Utah. There's some places from Utah you can drive in from. Like anyone who's within a 4 mile driving radius, if you have a job, you could have just been driving in and coming out. Like I don't
Right.
know. It just seems wrong. Just seems like a mistake given these numbers. But we'll see. We'll see over the next couple
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
All right, but okay. So that we went over. We found out who's still alive. Go Fausto. Let's go represent. Um, the other tournament that is going on as we speak. That Frank. Frank. I hope that. Actually, it's probably day one's probably over. It is the seniors event, and they don't want to keep those guys up late, right? They got to get to an early start. So we've got the seniors event happening right now, and Derek, why you didn't play? What the heck?
Yeah, I mean, I had come out here basically only for the monster stack. I didn't even know the senior one was going on, but
But it
it's
was perfect
like basically
timing. You could have double. You could
that's
have done
it's
the double play. Frank probably was doing. You could have
oh, it's
played
it's it's
online.
it's way too many days. It's like 5 days, so I think it goes into like Saturday or something. So I can't, yeah, I can't play.
It's 5 days, man. That's one of those problems that you want to have, right? Like, dang, I got to the fifth day. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, I already took off a whole week, so I can't be just like squeezing out all another week.
All right, all right, that's fair. But maybe next year you gotta get on the calendar. Now, one person who certainly seemed to be looking forward to this was, our very own Matt Salsburg. Salzburg, as everybody knows, is a writer, very clever, funny fella, and he had the jokes ready to go. So you pointed this out to me. He has a ton of. He's calling them Granddad jokes ready to go for this event. I'm just gonna read off a couple of my favorites here. You can find him on Twitter at msalzberg if you want to enjoy his content yourself. But so Matt got there nice and bright and early, started the tournament, started firing him off. So here he goes. You got to pretend I'm Salsburg. Just sat at the senior, and table looks soft, but that's just our bellies. Hand number 2 at seniors, and a guy already in the tank. Thankfully, it said oxygen on it. Hand 4 in the seniors, and 7 guys limp, but that's just their dicks. Okay, I should have put a little warning. Some of these jokes are a little off color. 6 guys at my senior table already have bracelets. Man, bad luck, but they all say life alert.
This guy's really
I know,
funny.
right?
It was just funny actually watching this because I remember I was going to get lunch, and then I just kind of noticed like I just kept seeing these tweets and they were like these like that Granddad jokes.
Yeah.
So I went and looked at his timeline. I was like, it looks like Matt Salzberg's losing his mind like playing
Clearly
the
he's
seniors event.
clearly he's a little bored. I mean, he should be the
Yeah.
one double queuing and playing online, I guess. But instead, he's giving us these nuggets, right? Like here you go. Seniors all just took a 20-minute bathroom break without leaving their chairs. Ah ha ha. The classic. And this isn't even one of his jokes. He's just saying, oh, I've got 145K in the seniors. I'm going on a 75-minute nap break. I don't think that was a joke. I think he just does that.
I actually take used a and I was actually telling people this. Um, at the World Series, there I get like this extra superpower, which is we have a 75-minute dinner break, and I try to actually stay here so that I can run up into the room and take a nap. And then after that, like I'm actually able to play the last few levels of the night without being completely brain dead. It's as if I just got like a refresh and I was like starting in the morning again. And I actually don't get this advantage in LA because I can't just go like sleep in my car. We don't have like an hour break or anything like that. So usually I'm playing the last few levels on fumes. So yeah, that one hit home for me because I actually do take and this isn't like that. I've been doing this for years.
I'm just gonna say. I mean, one of the stereotypical seniors jokes hit home for you. I mean, it makes sense. You can play in the tournament now. These jokes
Yeah.
are you. These are for you.
So I mean I think that even back from 10 years ago, I think I just had a sleeping disorder my whole life from like 10 years ago. I wasn't staying on site at the Rio, but then I was realizing that I should have just been doing that just so I could like sleep. Because it really was like the last few levels were just like I was completely brain dead.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Um,
it happens to everybody, right? That's definitely a thing you need to be aware of and plan for. Definitely
yeah,
don't be starting at the very beginning of tournaments if you can't stay focused the entire day long.
right,
Um,
right.
all right, last one from Salty. Just came back to my table in the seniors, asked a guy how he got so short, and he said osteoporosis. All right, anyways.
Salzburg's funny,
So
man.
he's having fun. He's having fun. It's important to have fun when you play poker, right? Otherwise, what are we doing here? I mean, if we're not having fun, like, what's the exact opposite of that? Like, cheating each other? Who would
Yeah,
do that?
there it is.
I mean, nobody
Yeah.
would. Oh, it's men win.
And I mean, it was really funny because this happened at the end of our last show, when this all started kind of becoming a little bit public, so we weren't able to cover it last week. But man, this is pretty messed up.
Yeah. So you want to describe the situation for people who may not know?
Yeah, so basically, this is last week, and I guess we could still call this alleged because we don't, know for sure.
Yeah, we
We
don't
don't
have
really
a
have any
great angle
confirmation.
to see it all.
Yeah, but it seemed like the video sort of backed up what the story was. But basically, what happened was the player had gotten into a three-way all-in with men and another player. Um, he ended up scooping the pot. I don't remember what the cards were, but it was something where he got kind of lucky as a short stack
He
and was
had
able to
Jack five
triple up.
suited, and they both had Ace King.
That's what it was. Jack five suited versus ace king. Um, so in the ensuing chaos, it looked like men actually pulled all his chips back out. Like so basically pushed a whole bunch of chips forward, right, with the all in. And then when the chaos is happening and deal was trying to count out chips, men just like took all his chips back, pulled it back into a stack, and then didn't pay the player, or at least that was allegedly what had happened. I think they ended up checking the cameras, but then what they ended up saying was that each player should just give that player like whatever it was, like 100K, which was still something like short of what the actual pot should have been. Very, very weird situation, but basically that player was, allegedly saying that men had pulled all his chips back and didn't pay. And the insane thing too was that there
You're
was a
thirsty.
floor man. There was like a floor man at that table at the time while that was happening, along with the dealer, and I just don't know how that got messed up. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, and it really fired up a lot of people on Twitter in the poker community. You know, had people let me see if I have these tweets up. Nope, sorry. I didn't pull the tweets up, but people like Mike Holtz, people like oh, you know why? Because it's in the comments. People were going nuts in the comments. People like Smitty, basically everybody just coming out telling stories of times they've seen or they think they've seen or old stories about times that men has been accused of or caught cheating in the past. And basically everyone on Twitter just feels like they've had it and they can't believe this guy is still allowed to play at all in live poker. uh, this is
Yeah.
a screen grab of
It's
when he pulls back his stacks, which we see him pull back the stacks in the video, but once again, there's the cameras don't stay. You can't tell if or what he paid
right.
later. So
Right.
yeah. So this is unfortunately always he always seems to be in the middle of these situations. Where there's smoke, there's fire is often called, and I don't think I've played with him, despite the fact that he plays in LA. So I'm glad of that. But this is also brought up other cheating and cheating Jason and other stories that are related, right? So in a related cheaters playing at the World Series situation, we have Poker News had seen Ali or Ali. Uh, you say his last name. I'm Sirovic. I'm too used to his nicknames to say his real name.
Oh, Imsirovic.
Yeah, Imsirovic. Playing here, he put on a mask and stayed quiet and was hoping no one would notice, but several people kind of saw him. He was playing the
He was
monster as well.
actually he was actually at Michael Ung's table.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, when I got moved to that tough table I was telling you about, they were actually the next table over in front of me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that reignited the fire. Like, look, you got men playing, you got Ali playing, and last week we were arguing over whether or not people who look at charts at the table should be banned. And it's like, you can't
Right.
even ban these guys. So that set off this whole firestorm. Like, look, why don't casinos tell each other when they're cheaters? Why don't casinos share information about who's cheating? Why don't online sites share information about who's cheating? And why don't we ban them all? Right? And Matt Savage kind
Right.
of jumped into the middle of this because he likes to get jumped in the middle. But I think there's a big misinterpretation and misunderstanding by the people replying back angrily at Matt.
Yeah.
Um,
They don't understand. I actually jumped in the conversation myself trying
oh
to
yeah,
repeat what Matt was saying. I feel like people just don't understand.
I'm gonna pull yours up in a second. I want to start here. Is I believe that he jumped. Oh, this is a mess. I'm sorry. He jumped into a conversation that someone else was having, and he made kind of his statement of like, well, what about this, what about that, do you have the evidence, do how are we going to ban, how is like Caesar's going to ban someone for cheating on ACR, like how is that chain of command going
Right.
to work, right? And then
Right.
so there's a couple different problems, and one of the big problems I see is that people keep arguing with him as though he is in control of the banning, right? He is, like, they're yelling at him like Matt, make this a rule, ban these guys. It's like, guys, he is gonna run the tournament directors summit coming up. He's gonna make rules for the procedures of the game. He does not, just like people who are complaining like the rake is too high or something. He does not tell rooms how to run their card rooms. He doesn't tell them who's allowed to play in the rooms. He doesn't tell them, whether he doesn't tell them how to run their business. He's making rules for the poker. He can't tell people, well, part of TDA is you must ban this list that we're going to keep and you must contribute to it. That's not what he does. He's just giving his opinion on whether or not you should or could in this case, right? I think your point is that he's really talking more about could you even ban the cheaters rather than should you.
Right.
All right, so yeah, I'll
Because
bring
it's
up
like
your
an
tweets while we're doing.
operational thing. I mean, it's like an operational thing. So I think what Matt was usually talking about, and I even think when he's not saying like I can't personally do it, but he's almost just saying if I were in the shoes of the people running these rooms, like what should I do, right? Somebody cheats online. Should I figure out some way to ban them live? Like how do we actually start sharing lists across casinos? Although that argument, I'm going to say that, obviously all the casinos seem to share who the blackjack counters are, right? I think they all get on some sort of a list and their pictures up in all the security rooms. So when they go around trying to like, go to more casinos to get caught, and that's why they like wear disguises and stuff. It's all crazy. Um, so I do think that there should be some sharing of lists, but I think it's number one, it's like really hard to enforce. And I think number two, some of the points I'm making is like, um, if somebody cheated at online poker by like RTAing, right? what should be done with them in live poker? I actually don't disagree that they should just be banned, right? If you're a cheater, you're a cheater, and you're at risk, to people trying to compete with you. But what should we do there? Like, if somebody cheats at RTA online, should they be banned from live forever? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I think people were just taking my almost um, like just trying to state like a situation and what you would do with it and what the slippery slope was, and everyone is just responding back like it should just be a ban. What are you talking about? I'm like, fine, I don't disagree with you. I don't want to argue with you anymore about it.
Yeah, Berkey actually jumped into your threads because you were talking about a slippery slope, and he's just like, for Berkey, it's very black and white. He tends to have a
But
very black and white first take on a lot of issues, I think, and then I think he tends to peel back once someone more authoritative, counterpoints him. But he jumped in there too, and you know, I think I think that I am more like you said, you agree they should just be banned. I definitely, that's my gut reaction, is that from a what if only we could all do what we think is the right thing, right? We should just ban them. But I totally understand, and I mean, it's just a realistic thing. Is there's so many different organizations. Like Matt says, I specifically said, what if someone was cheating on ACR, right? Like, I don't really care who's cheating on ACR because I don't trust ACR. So what,
right.
like, if they give me a list, like, they're gonna need to show me their evidence that they did a type of cheating. Otherwise, I might just think you don't like that
Right.
guy. Um, and
It's like I think the type of cheating somewhat matters, right? Like, should Min the master be banned from all live tournaments? Yes, he should be because he's just been a lifetime cheater, right? Should Ali be banned and Jake be banned from online poker for life? Yes, because they are clearly cheating online. So when you cross that threshold over, like, how does Min take what he's doing live, like he's never done that in an online arena, and then you can't really RTA in a live arena. So again, but it's not like they can't find ways to cheat in both sides. So in that way, I kind of agree with the Matt Berkeys and everyone. Like, yeah, if you're going to cheat, you're going to find a way. But they actually kind of haven't done it yet, right? So it's just kind of like a Minority Report thing. And how far do you expand this, right? If they want to play a chess poker tournament for money or esports, right? Are they're just going to find a way to cheat no matter what. So this should be banned from all games. Like, how far does it go? And that's where the slippery slope is in my mind.
yeah, and it's kind of up to the organizations themselves. I think that um, if you cheated in a way that actually steals money, like RTA, like collusion, then if I ran a room and I had confirmed evidence that you cheated in that way anywhere, online, a different
Mhm.
casino, wherever, I would not
This
let
is a
you play in
live
my
room.
room. Hmm?
Live room.
If I ran a
Live
live
room.
room. Well, if I ran an online room and I could somehow tell that was you, I would also.
Yeah.
Honestly, so a whole different topic. Um, you know, I think that all of these states where you have to verify your identity and match one to one with your account, you should have to use your real name. This isn't World of
Yep.
Warcraft. This isn't like some forum where this isn't like some bug collecting forum where you don't want everyone to know you're a nerd or something. Like, this is real
Mhm.
money, real game with real. You win a bracelet, they put your real name out there anyways or whatever. Like, you should just be forced to use your real name. I don't understand why you even have all this like extra stuff. Maybe you have like maybe like it's your real name. Like, a lot of accounts, you have the name, and then if you hover, you see the real name. Like, if I know who you are, it should say who you are. Like, this is
Yeah. I
I
think
don't understand why
I,
this is such a problem.
I'm gonna agree that screen names with gaming is almost like hand in hand, like forever, right? But poker is a little bit different. It is for like much more money. I'm gonna say, like, in World Series, when you cash and you go and look at your results, like on poker, on the World Series of Poker site, on the online results, they'll put your real name.
Right.
Like, you
So
see my real name,
it's right
six
there.
max. So they
Yeah.
like, yeah, they tie it to your screen name. I don't know who they are while I'm playing them, but, like, when they report the results, that they will. And actually, it's interesting is they don't put your screen name next to your real name, so I think they're still trying to leave you a little bit
I think it's dumb. I think
anonymous.
it's silly, personally. I mean, like, in my mind, people who I think anyone who thinks like, oh, it's ridiculous that you wear a mask and sunglasses and a hoodie and you're hiding your face from tells and identity or
Right.
whatever, like, you should be. Then why do you want? I don't know if they do, but if they also think like, oh well, I need to be like uh, uh, nut peddler 666, like, why? Why do you need to hide there? What's the big deal? And it's like,
Right.
I just think it will help with a lot of problems. I don't know. That's an aside, total aside. The original point was, if I ran any kind of card room, and what I was getting at is, like, if I'm in the World Series so I think it should be pretty cut and dry. If the World Series caught Ali cheating on the World Series site, they should be banned from World Series events. That's That's what I think, because there shouldn't be any communication problems. There shouldn't be any hidden information. Like it's if they own, it's them, right? They should just you
Right.
banned. I caught you at WorldSeries.com. You're not coming to World Series real life. That's how I feel there. And then
Right.
it's kind of case by case after that. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. It's really interesting because it's like when I'm like responding back to Berkey, I think Gavin Griffin was in there as well. I wasn't actually even disagreeing with them. Just like, yeah, I get it. They should probably be banned. But what about this and what about that? And they're like, what are you talking about? They should just be banned. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
exhausting.
That's why
Sorry
Twitter
for
is
this.
just, you can't have a conversation on Twitter.
Right.
Not at all. So yeah, that is that is there were some other Twitter controversies that came up this week, but I think the cheating feels like the biggest thing to talk about. So those there are no answers, and the World Series does. It's obvious the World Series is allowing all these guys to still play. Now I don't want to bring the video up because it's kind of like shaming or whatever, but talking about rules and whatnot, there was another person who was thrown out of the World Series in a pretty high profile way with all over social media. This past weekend. This woman playing one of I want to say it was one of the mixed events got very loud. There's video, you can go find it, but
Oh
she got
yeah.
thrown out for ultimately for refusing a penalty and then refusing to cooperate with the floor. So I'm sure that there were many sides to that story, but the bottom line is you have to cooperate with the floor. They're trying to run this
Yeah.
massive event with tens of thousands of people all around. We have to you have to cooperate with them, and they're for the most part pretty reasonable people. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah,
know.
when I saw the video, I just felt bad, and it wasn't about, oh, there's like potential two sides to the story or whatever. It just looked like somebody who was having a kind of a mental situation, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, I
someone
just
who
felt
kind of
bad
like
for her.
snapped, right? But and I'm
Right.
sure, yeah, like I'm sure she was being egged on, and she mentioned that these guys are harassing her. Or my guess from just the very limited things that were said, it sounds like a situation where people were making fun of her play, making fun of something else about her, and she just like went off, and it was a big fight back and forth, right? So,
Yeah.
which is awful. We shouldn't be that way, but that's one side of it. We shouldn't be that way. Those people should be put on blast. But then you put the spotlight on the wrong thing when you don't cooperate with the
Yeah.
floor and the people trying to come in and run an event.
Yeah, I will say maybe the one good thing that comes out of that is like, yes, just cooperate with the floor and kind of, especially I think the floor was just trying to pull you aside to have a conversation. And at that
Yep.
point, they made you just kind of like came back in after like a short conversation, but then to just, but again, if she was having some sort of like mental situation, I just feel really bad, but
Yeah.
just cooperate.
Yep. It's very awkward. But yep. So we will likely we'll keep collecting all the other kind of fun stories and debates and bring them up next week. If you guys have anything you really want us to talk about, you see in Twitter, retweet it and tag us on Twitter and stuff. Make sure you let us know, and we'll add it to the schedule. Um, the next thing we are going to cover is the Bicycle officially released the Legends of Poker schedule. The schedule
Yeah,
will
super
beginning
exciting.
mid-July, which actually isn't that far away. We're only a month away from the Legends of Poker, so um,
Yep.
I think we can now say we got a little sneak peek at this. I honestly, it's such a big schedule. I can't even say if anything's changed since we got the sneak peek, but it's great to be able to share it. And let's go over some of the big events. And we got Larry in the chat. Maybe he can help if we have any questions. But it's pretty straightforward, and it looks really good. Honestly, it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the schedule. It does really feel like the bike is listening to us about, basically our biggest complaint is like the whole weekend scheduling thing, right? So it looks like most of the events, outside of the very, very big, like milli
Yep.
ones, all kind of land on some worker-friendly schedules.
Yeah, yeah. I think other than the two, we'll check right now. But I think other than the two events with Mega in the name, all the day twos are on Sunday, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
So let's
it
just
is
quick whiz
fantastic.
through the events with big guarantees, and obviously as we get closer to this, we will come back and talk about what's going to happen in the next week or two. So this Legends starts off on 7/12 on July 12th on Friday. The kickoff is a 40,000 chip one day with a 40K guarantee, 260 buy-in. So that's it's like the we're starting out with one day, so it kind of looks like they have a good mix of one day weekends and then good mix of multi. So they're starting out with kind of what I call the double daily. It's kind of like double the size of the like the Gardens or the old Commerce dailies, right? So we got the 40K guarantee, that's great. But Saturday, legendary deep stack, 150K guarantee one day. We love these things. This buy-in's 400. I feel like a lot of times this is 600, so this could be great. This could be really, really huge. Just be ready to fire a lot of bullets, kind of situation.
I still don't love one days, but I'm glad. I'm glad that they bring so many people out and people do like them. So obviously, I'm gonna come play
Yeah,
them, even though they're not
yep.
not, not,
Getting
not my
done in one
forte.
day is nice, man. Even if it
It,
is three in
it,
the
it,
morning.
yeah, I will say it is nice because I final tabled, I think, like one of those before, and it did really feel nice to just kind of finish a tournament in one day from sometimes.
Yep, and you still have some weekend time left, man. And then
Yeah.
Sunday, kind of the cool down, half of that. It's a 75K guarantee, still 400 buy-in. You have 50K in chips, so could still be a pretty late night, but nice guarantee. So after that, the following week starts their first multi-day, their first quantum. So the first quantum of the series has a 400K guarantee, and it begins on that Monday, which is nice. They're not competing at day one with the Sunday one day, so that's cool. So they are going to be doing that 400K guarantee, and those days go from Monday through Saturday. As we said, the day two is on Sunday, so kudos. That's awesome. I'll be playing that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Super excited about yeah, basically, and any of these like big multi days that just land, at least one day one on a Saturday so I can play without taking off from work, and day two on Sunday, I'm usually backflipping about it because this is not just for me, but like this is how you get big fields. This is
Mm-hmm.
how people are going to come out. And also, if you just have these consistently, I still feel like there's a whole bunch of dormant poker players who don't come out because of these schedules and they can't keep track of what's going on, right? Like sometimes people will show up and they don't really even know what the schedule is. And then sometimes you'll hear people say, "Oh yeah, I stopped coming out and playing because I can't ever make this because it's too disruptive of my work."
Now
So
hold on a
now
second.
if we can,
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
so now basically if we just keep this like pretty consistent, where most of these big events are landing and finishing on day two on a Sunday, I think we're gonna get a lot more consistency and just getting a lot more people that aren't playing to start coming out again.
All right. All right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And this is even going to be better, I think. I was mistaken. So they wrote quantum up here. I don't know why, because this is not a quantum. The next week one, it's labeled quantum half million day 1A. That is a quantum. I'm looking at this day two. There's no buy-in for day two. Maybe they have a good bag bonus on this, which is fine, but this is a $400 buy-in, non-day two buy-in tournament with a 400K guarantee. This is basically
Mm,
the Commerce's 40/40 they ran. 40K
yeah.
in chips, yeah, and 1 in 8 advance. This is awesome. This is just the 40/40 again, and I loved that tournament. I think this is just like the tournament that you sucked out on me and won last year. I think.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one. So I mean, you know what it
I
is?
think
I
that's the
don't.
last time you ran good actually on a river. I think I cursed you.
Yeah, I don't think I've done anything since then. But I don't even know if it's the day two buy-ins that kind of get me. I do think it's more the bag bonuses because so much of it gets taken out of day two. But day two buy-ins don't bug me too much.
Yeah, yeah. So this is great. It's not a quantum 400K guarantee.
No.
So that's the second week that day two, like I says, on July 21st. Following week they start one of their traditional quantums. This one has a half million guarantee. It has $200 and $380 day one price points, and it has so they don't have the structures. I don't believe they have the structures out yet. So we'll have to see what those bag bonuses are. I imagine they're traditional. We'll see if there's any limits on them like they did before. Like I said, the limit they put was so high it didn't really matter. But they have that, and that day two is also on Sunday, and that day two has an $1,800 entry. So $1,800 day two buy-in for a 500K guarantee tournament for day two on Sunday. I will be firing, and I will be firing that Friday and Saturday in the day ones, and I'll fire on Sunday if I have to for the day two direct. Which, if they had put that day two on Monday, I would be on the fence about playing at all. So they got my money.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean it's all standard stuff. I think we're used to these kind of tournaments at the bike, but again, there's this one, we have our two big flagship events in LA, and it's basically, the Commerce LAPC and the Bike Legends of Poker.
Yeah,
So yeah, super excited about our next big one coming up.
yeah, and so they and they, to note they sprinkle in mixed games. uh, on
Yeah,
a lot of
nice.
these day ones. So on that first during the $400 buy-in tournament, the 400K, they had mixed games that week. Looks like they take the next week off, but then the following week, the week of July, the last week in July, they have the mixed games are coming back. And during that week, they have a number of one-day deep stacks. And then that weekend, so that will be the first weekend in August. This looks like another one-day kind of weekend, and they're going to have another 150K guarantee on Saturday, August 3rd. So another big one-day tournament on Saturday the 3rd. And with that, they will start their mini Mega Millions. So the mini Mega Million starts after that. It's what you're used to, 100 or a 1 million guarantee. Has those two price points for the day ones, the 250 and the 380, and it has the 2 day twos, day 2A, day 2B. Now, as I mentioned before,
Wait, the mini has 2-day twos?
yeah, yep, the minis had 2 day
Uh,
twos since they started it.
yep.
So those day twos are on Sunday and Monday. So then the day three will be on Tuesday. So yep, that's the way they've been doing it before. So that's basically the same as from the previous ones. Honestly, with the other events on the schedule being so good, I will not be as interested in this one because of the days off, the extra days off I'd have to take. The next event,
Yep.
very exciting, another $1 million guarantee tournament right after that previous one. So hopefully everyone is still excited and ready to go. Not a quantum. They're calling it the inaugural Park West Classic. So I hope they do
Yep.
something else to make it kind of special. It has a double bag bonus of $8,000, which the buy-in is $1,200. Hopefully 200 isn't rake. Hopefully it's less than 200 in rake, but it's going to be that's a big bag bonus. So you're going to be incentivized to bag multiple times. So they still have that, but you won't be able to buy in directly to day two. Now, this looks like it's taking the place of what would have been, where they would slot in those WPTs. Because as now, I gotta say it, and I forgot to bring it up. I will when Park West when this thing starts, and nothing against them, Larry, but they said it last year. We were assured that WPT was coming back this year. Last year they said it's only because of the construction. WPT's coming back next year. Legends will be WPT. It was in the blog. I'm gonna go find it. And there is no WPT here. I didn't think they were gonna do it. Did you think they were gonna do it?
Yeah, I didn't. It didn't feel real.
No.
But I think there's probably so much stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. So it's really hard to say exactly what happened. But I would share in your disappointment that it's not WPT.
Yeah. So I mean, I just got to bring it up because when someone says, "I promise you," "I guarantee you," and then it doesn't happen, I don't know. But this tournament does look good. I am very
Yeah,
excited for this
very
tournament.
excited.
1K, 1 million
Always
guarantee.
love 1Ks. Yeah, always love 1Ks, especially with a big guarantee like a million.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, like kind of top of the show, there are a lot of day ones, but it's not the end of the world. Like whatever it is, what
Yeah.
it is. Do what you need to do to make sure you hit that guarantee because we don't want you guys missing guarantees for sure.
Yeah, and with that bag bonus, it'll be interesting actually to see how many people have the stomach to keep putting in 1K to get that bag bonus because if you miss and you miss a lot, it's going to start to hurt. Now, if you don't miss, you're going to
Yep.
make a lot of money. But if you miss a lot, it's going to start to hurt. So it'll be interesting to see how much interest there is to go after that bag bonus.
Yeah, definitely operators should always, be mindful about player growth, prize
Yep.
pool growth, your own operations and your costs to make sure that you're running sustainable business. But then also think a little bit about risk of ruin with poker players. I think for right now, this is some of the best times that we've had in poker in Los Angeles, actually over this last year when we had WSOPC, then we ran right into the WPT. Cabin is constantly filling any little space in between with like really amazing events at the
Mm-hmm.
gardens, right? And we're rolling right into legends, but it gets very exhausting on the bankroll if you're kind of running pretty badly like me. So have to be a little bit conscious of that. But it's really really great to have all these options.
Yep. Absolutely. And I also want to point out with this next event. So right after the classic ends, they kick off their Mega Millions 27. That is 3 tournaments in a row with a million or more prize pool guarantee. So
It is
that means
insane how like what's the total prize pool total guarantees are 6 million. That's
does it say
insane.
at the top? Yep, over 6 million. So right here at the end,
6 million.
yeah, right here at the
Yeah.
end, starting with the mini mega, starting 8-3 when they kicked that August, basically the entire month of August, we have tournaments going on. Lots of satellite/day ones going on, but we have tournaments going on with over $1 million guarantee for the entire month of August. That's pretty big.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, guys, spread the word. Put that out. Tell people on Twitter. Look, come to LA for, if you were to come to LA, if you're a traveling poker tournament player and like all you want to do is win money, come here for the day 2 of the mini mega, stay here for that bit, and then start playing the Quantum Half Million. Or not, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, not half million. Start playing the Park West Classic. If you come in for the
The
mini mega
classic.
million, you play that day, Sunday, Monday. If for some reason you don't make it to Tuesday, just start playing the Park West Classic. Grind the
Yeah.
bags if you
Then
need to. You win 8K if you get an extra bag playing that $1 million,
right.
and then decide if you want to hang out for the mini mega or for the actual mega. I mean, like
Actual mega. Yeah.
that's a lot of dollars of guarantee and prize money here. So
And this is kind of the hope, right, of the World Series of Poker circuit coming to the Commerce is that we got a lot of people from out of town coming in, right? And we actually had a lot of complainers like Blaze, who was like, oh, I was so annoyed this was here. And had a pretty good time. Like his mom came and he, like took her to get some Mexican food. He was telling me all about his experience. He went to a comedy show.
yeah,
So I was
there's
like, yeah, that's awesome.
so much to do in
Sounds
LA.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think this is what we need to do is we need to attract people to come and play tournaments in LA again. And then so hopefully what happens is maybe the World Series of Poker pulled, whatever it was, like 300 or 400 players from out of town that come and play that don't typically play. So maybe the legends are going to benefit from maybe 50 or 60 of those people, will actually now come and play the legends when they wouldn't have had before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now if the bike can put on a really, really awesome event, right, attracting more and more people. I think this is how you just keep that line moving up, right? Because we can't. So obviously, if nobody came from out of town and we just grew the SoCal base, it would be humongous, right? But then just having those people come from out of town would be huge as well.
Yeah, and honestly, like making sure that the schedule is all these day 2s on Sunday, like especially the Park West.
Yes.
I think this Park West Classic could be big. That is going to make so many more of the people that aren't from directly LA. The San Diego. I've talked to multiple San Diego players who say they would come up more, but all of the middle of the week they can't do it.
Right.
So many San Diego players would come up more often if it was all on the weekend and not in the
Right.
middle of the week. Probably for the exact same reasons. I'm not going to the World Series next week and the week after that. They can come
Yeah.
up. Maybe they'll get a room at the bike. They say, "Oh, I'll get a hotel. I'll get a room for Saturday night at the bike. If I need one Sunday night, awesome. I'm making a bunch of money." But when it
Right.
wasn't the case, they're not doing that. Heck no, right? So
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be big. I really do. The only concern is that it's starting. The series starts. The World Series isn't even over yet in July 12th. There's still events going on there. So the only concern is there's that little bit of overlap and if there's any fatigue.
Yeah. And I think that last kind of week-ish. Well, I don't actually even know what's in the last week of that schedule, to be honest with you. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. But I feel like most people are usually like back in town already.
I think
They're
they
probably
are.
ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they are. But, it's still, people, not everybody wins. So, yeah, everybody, I recognize everybody doesn't quite have the cash rate at the World Series that I do. So it's, no, I
Yeah.
just jinxed myself though. I haven't been playing much, right? Last year I played, the Colossus, the main event, and now I played the Monster Stack. Those are literally the only 3 World Series events I played in the last 10 years. Wait,
Yeah.
8 years. And I cashed. So I've cashed all 3 of those on 4 combined bullets. The 2 coming in the Colossus. So knock on wood, I didn't just jinx myself. But I gotta try and make money now before it turns around. Oh, update in the other one. Cabral now has the chip lead. So
Nice. Um,
that'll be interesting TV.
Wonder what time? What time? It's already 11 p.m. They gotta be almost done with the day, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's 10 levels and a dinner break, and started 11, so should be
Yeah.
very close done.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And it looks like Steven Song's out.
Oh, it's too bad.
Yep. But our
Big fan of the
man
guy.
Fausto, it looks like he's still in. I don't see his name in the results,
Nice.
so let's see where's he at. Where's he at? Oh shoot, I didn't see him going up either. Um, all right, so that is pretty much all I've got before the roundup. You got anything else, Derek?
No, yeah. Let's get to the roundup.
All right, let's do it. Let me just verify that Fausto's still in. I don't see his name anywhere. What the heck happened to him? He disappeared. Um, Thu's still in. He still has 1.6s. He hasn't moved at all. And
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes they don't keep the
yeah,
chip
they don't
counts up
check
to
the
date, so
counts. Of
it's
course not. No.
yeah, it's hard to say.
Though it's getting small enough that they can they can count the important stacks.
Yeah.
All right, someone else can have to check later. I don't know why I don't see his name anywhere. Something happened. Okay, let's do the roundup. All right, this week, if we are in LA, which I am, what is going on? There are no series happening, so we'll start like we usually do. Best dailies in town? Well, for my money, it's the Gardens. The Gardens having all of its regulars. You got Kevin down there. You got you got 1.5ing to doubling the prize pools every time. So the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday dailies down there, you can't go wrong. However, there is another special event going on. I think that Hollywood Park is taking advantage of no series going on this and everyone being at the World Series for the bigger buy-ins to really try and hit home. You see, they've had a special tournament every weekend for the last 3 weekends. They had that 50K bounty on the 9th. They had the Father's Day bounty on the 16th. And they had this coming weekend, they have a regular Sunday special, 50K on Sunday. So that's a 360 buy-in for a 50K guarantee. So 1-day tournament. I will be going there on Sunday. And maybe if Derek needs to play a little bit of poker, just starts jonesing again, maybe he will finally go and realize that Hollywood Park's a real place. Maybe. What do you think?
You know what?
Could we see you there?
I don't actually have anything going on this weekend. I was gonna just try to get some brain rest, but we'll see. I'll decide.
It's a pretty
Wait,
good structure,
what's the guarantee again?
50K. 50K 1 day, 360 buy-in. Honestly, typically their structures are pretty good, such that with 40K you can max late reg and you're still in pretty good shape. Like you can max late reg at 130 and you still have 40 bigs.
Oh, that's right. But then it's like super turbo at the end, right?
I mean, it's like a daily, but it's only 360. It's 50K guarantee. Honestly, the only time I've cashed there all year was the time I went and max late regged.
I'm a little tilty from this week, so maybe that might be a bad idea. But we'll see. Well, I'll see how I'm feeling on Sunday. We got Alti in chat. What's up, Alti? Yeah, cool roundup graphics. I made that.
Yeah.
I made that. Well, I didn't actually make it. It was like a template that I found on Canva.
Look, he made that. He paid for the program with the template in it, and he hit the buttons. I'm not sure how big the 50K has been getting because I don't last very long in them. I've ran terrible at Hollywood Park. Like I said, the deepest I made it this year at Hollywood Park is when I started after reg ended. Just max late reg. So I'm not sure how big they get because Hollywood Park does not release any details, and it seems that the folks who tended to post their own results from Hollywood Park aren't doing it as much lately. So Xander said it usually gets to 60. I think it gets a little higher than 60, but yeah, it definitely. I mean, they definitely meet. No, 60K. What?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, 60K.
60.
I think it gets a little better than that, but it always hits the guarantee. That's for sure. So. Alti must be looking for a little something to play this weekend as well. Maybe everyone will go there. Yep. Bring Squirtle. It's on.
You guys, the last thing I need is all these freaking Bregs playing a freaking daily at the Hollywood Park. That's the last thing I need.
It's not a daily. It's a Sunday special.
But what's going to happen is you and Alti and Xander all end up at the same table with me.
Well, we're just going to all ship it on the first hand then, and I'll be back in. It's fine.
You guys are at my table. I'm going to play like a freaking nut job.
We're going to, if we're at the same table, Alti and I whip out some Pokemon, do a side, we'll basically do a side game for our stacks, and then one of us will rebuy.
I guarantee you there will be 1 to 5 bet in orbit.
We'll click. Especially with 40K, and they might actually start with a 100 level. To be honest,
yeah, make it deep. It's gonna be just min click back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So that is the only special tournament going on this weekend. Everyone else is on their dailies. So as always, price range, lowest price range happening down at Lucky Lady. Their dailies are on. Commerce has its dailies happening. They are around the same price as the Gardens ones, but they start later. So the dance that we all do if you are addicted and you have a free day is you go to the Gardens. If you bust, you go to Commerce and you grind. That is.
We got Larry in chat saying he's gonna drive down. He's gonna be at the same table with us too. I'm out, man.
Spencer's in.
Many good players.
Oh, well then maybe you should just go to the Gardens then, because we'll all be. Honestly, this one starts at 10 a.m. You could just start there, then drive to the Gardens, then drive to Commerce.
Just sitting on my couch drinking a beer without thinking about poker for a day feels pretty good, right? I'll decide on Sunday morning.
I call your bluff. You're gonna play an ACR.
Yeah. Oh, I took all my money off of ACR since that whatever the freaking last cheating scandal was. I haven't put any back on, so I'm patting myself in the back. I even skipped the last Venom.
Wow. Wow, that's big. All right. So, not a whole lot in the roundup this week. That's it. I will see you guys at Hollywood Park. We're gonna keep trying to work on Derek. We'll figure out a way. Maybe we'll have to have some side action going or something. I don't know. We'll figure out a way. All right. That's all we got for you this week, guys. If you're out at the World Series, good luck. Good luck to all our buddies still playing in that senior event.
Yeah.
If you're
Yep.
here, we'll see you around. See you at Hollywood Park. We'll see you. If you don't want to play, Derek's having beer and couch movie watching party or something at his house. Go hang out with him. But and we will
No,
see
I
you.
wouldn't put some,
Yeah.
put some security guards around so nobody can come in either.
Ah, jeez. All right. Hey, Larry. Thank you, Larry, for all you do. We wouldn't be here without good floor and good people running these things. Xander, I will see you out there, man. I will catch you there. We'll have a good time. Let's drink. It's gonna feel really relaxed compared to the World Series, man. Just gonna be
Yeah.
fun. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and until next week, we'll see you at the tables.
See you at the tables, everyone.